Dev call. Oh, hi.
They're so cute.
Jam. So great. Thanks, Suga. Cool. Okay, well, welcome to the GIVeconomy Dev Call. Let's talk about stuff. We got lots on the agenda for today, so we'll just kind of like walk through the agenda and then we'll do like a round with everyone's attentions and distractions. I want to talk about Gitcoin passport integration, quadratic funding. I started mapping out the spec and have like some questions that I want feedback and input on. Also, I want to like just make sure that we're on the right track for getting Celo donations and Optimism donations out the door. Give power, adding Optimism chain and the rewards and sorting. Something about the Give stream that Franco brought up. Plus, then on the research side, I'd want to breathe more life into the NFT integration project and just touch on Giveth Pro or Index Scoop if we have the time. So those are the exciting things that are to come. And I'm not distracted, although my computer has been having increasing difficulties lately. So I don't know. Sometimes I like lose connection lately. But that's all. I will pass it to Suga.
I'm good. My distractions are distracted, so I'm okay. And yeah, I'm just here to catch up and pay attention. And yeah, that's it. I'll pass it to Amin.
Thank you. I'm not distracted. My intention is to look at the priority where I imagine that give power ranking will be the next week priority. But that's it. I pass it to Tosin.
My intentions for this call is just to sync with everybody and then probably just listen to Lauren discuss a Gitcoin passport and quadratic funding. Pass it. I'm not distracted at the moment. I'll pass it to Mitch.
Here to listen about Gitcoin passport and quadratic funding, and I suppose all the rest of the things. Distracted by fixing our ChatGPT account. And I will pass it to Mateo.
Thank you, Mitch. Hey guys, happy to be here. I just want to keep in sync, not much to add. I'll pass it to Kotabe.
Oh, that mute button. GM. My intentions are to talk about everything that Lauren said. Sounds like a lot, but like really good and important things to cover and recover. And my distractions, I am right now just kind of like following up with all the Celo things to get paid. I'll pass it to who's missing? Corey.
Hey, thanks. Yeah, my intention is just definitely to sync up on everything Lauren just mentioned on the agenda, and don't have many distractions, just making kind of breakfast on the side. I will pass it to Jake.
Cool for me. Always listen in, see what's going on. QF sounds really cool, as well as Gitcoin. Outside of that, distractions, following up on a whole bunch of stuff after my call with Griff here. So let me take a swing at it. Pass it along to Mateo. Have you gone?
He did.
Derek?
Let's pass it to Cherrick.
Thank you, Lauren. My intention for the call is, I think I'm totally on the agenda, and I'm distracted by implementing something on the app. That's it. I pass it to Monique.
Yeah, everybody. My intention just to give you updates about the Celo stuff going on this. I'm also curious to create issues for the design and implementation of the front end for the Gitcoin and other things that were related to the dev. And I think I'm the last one. All right.
Maybe Giant King.
GM. Distractions. The off. Some basic attention to the just be a fly on the wall and help anybody that needs help.
I can't understand.
He's
What's your
super.
name?
Giant King, you're super quiet. I can hear you if I
Too
turn
quiet
up.
in today.
Yeah.
I'll work on that.
Maybe check your mic settings. But I heard that you want to help if anybody needs help, so that's always good. Let's pass it over to Franco.
Thank you, Lauren. My intention for the call is streaming, and maybe if there's time, just I have some questions about like the give stream and the rewards distribution that I'd like to address, and no distractions whatsoever. And I'll pass it to Santi. I think he's the last one.
Thank you, Franco. GM, everyone. Intentions for the call is just sync on everything, all the topics on the agenda. And I'm a little bit, I have the flu here, so I'm a little distracted. Back to you, Lauren.
Wanted to check if my mic any better.
Way better. Now I can hear you.
Yeah, it was almost off. I don't know how. Anyway, sometimes when I come on, Lauren, you are 200%, even though I have everybody at 100. I don't know why mine was down to like 10. Who knows?
Ooh. And Griff, do you want to check in? I noticed you in the room.
I'm just paying attention, working on other things in the background.
Cool. Okay. Griff is present as well. I think that's everybody, right? Griff. Cool. All right, so I guess let's get started. You know, honestly, I kind of want to get started, just like get the Cello and optimism conversation out of the way, because I feel like we'll be able to like get through them faster, but we could spend the whole call talking about QF. So let's start with just like Cello updates. I know that we have like the development branch ready to test, and I already sent it over to the fundraising group so they can let the Cello people know that like, look, we built it, and then hopefully they can send us the funds. Oh, great! So Griff already passed it along to them, and great. So then we'll get funding soon.
Really, we did that. Sorry, we may have bugs on that Fisher branch.
I don't think it matters. They just wanted to see that we were building something, like that we've built something, in order for them to release the funds. It doesn't need to be like ready and done and tested. It's just like we needed like some kind of test deployment so that it's like, look, we're actually working on integrating this. Then they'll give us part of the funds. And then when it's fully launched, I think they give us all of the funds.
Okay, which feature branch? Sure, send it to you.
He put it in the issue. It's givecello.vercel.app.
Mm-hmm. And the feature, is it the Cherry? Is it the feature that you prepared it today or yesterday?
Yes, it's the feature branch that I prepared today.
Today, okay, today is fine.
Yeah, and I looked at it, like I went through, I made a test donation and just like skimmed and was like, this is something. And then that's why I passed it on to the fundraising group. So yeah, I know we're not like ready to release it, but it's enough to show them so we get money, which is good. Cool.
Okay.
So then I wanted to talk also, so I know Monique, you made this forum post about the Cello token list, and I think like you're probably still wondering, like you still need feedback on it, right? On the list of tokens that we should add. So I wanted to know just to move. Cool. I wanted to know just to move this along. I'm asking you and like anybody else who has an opinion on this, like what's the best way to figure out like which of these tokens are good to put for the give backs list and for whatever? Like, should we check the liquidity? Should we talk to someone from Cello?
I think checking the liquidity is the biggest thing. It's not about whether or not someone thinks it's a good token. It's about, can someone change the price on this?
But
and how do we get a good price feed, right? So I think that it's fine to start out with like just the tokens that are the $1 tokens that have the liquidity and the whatever the Celo token itself. I think that's fine to start with those and then just put up a forum post.
Well, Monique already made a forum post that he got a list of tokens from ChatGPT, but like didn't check the liquidity. So what's like minimum liquidity for the token and like where?
On CoinGecko, they should be able to. There's like a 2% thing, and it should be 10K or more. 2% plus and minus.
Okay.
ChatGPT sorted it based on the market cap. So.
Uh-oh. Lauren's computer just got the blue screen of death. Here.
Oh no.
I'm sorry.
What did I tell you about that computer?
You know, I was being dumb. Apple is supposed to announce a 15-inch MacBook Pro in the next like month, and I'm like, I'll just wait till it's out. It's like I desperately need a new computer. But
It's
I don't
a trap. Buy something now. Buy something now. It's a trap.
I know.
Always there
I
is
should have came to this
something
call. I
better.
should have came to you guys a month ago. But now we're going in the jungle where there is no Mac store.
You know,
Use
if
that-
Monique told me to do it, I would have done it.
That office stipend when you can.
How do we restart?
It's already doing
Okay.
it. Okay. Sorry, I am gonna try to share my screen. I was just pulling up the Notion and wow, your computer's slow too.
It might be on a bad internet.
Okay. Well, I'm gonna keep powering through. Okay. Well, good. Once my computer restarts, you can have yours back. Thank you. Sorry. So can everyone still hear me okay?
Yeah, and we were talking about how on the tokens for Celo, you can just go to CoinGecko, look up the token, and see if it has 10K of 10K of plus or minus liquidity. Like it needs both. On the plus side, it's like it has like a plus 2%, minus 2% liquidity amount.
I think people can't hear us.
No, I can hear you.
Oh, good. Okay, great.
So that's what Breachies was doing to check all the other tokens, and so should work for the Celo tokens too.
Would it be good to ask Breachies to check this?
Yeah.
Okay. I'll ask Breachies to do that, Monique, and then she can leave a comment in the forum post so we can like move that along.
Yeah, okay, but it's not a blocker because we decided to do that with the 4 token.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And yeah, I think after these changes, we have from the Cherry get tested enough, we can launch, and it's going to be next week, I guess.
Okay, and then so the like adding multiple addresses feature is already in there, right?
Yeah, but not completed and not tested.
Yeah, okay. So great. I was testing it today and it didn't look like it. It was only telling me I could add Polygon. Maybe I need to add Polygon and then Celo, but anyway, I'll create issues if it's supposed to be on there.
I think Cherry will update us whenever it's going to be ready for test on that part, you know. Our plan with the Merge was just testing the Celo with these 4 tokens and check the edge cases. Then after Cherry prepared that feature, we start testing the rest of these managed funds. So it's not ready for testing right now.
Okay. Test only. So it's only donating with the 4 tokens.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh my God. Okay.
Which 4 tokens?
I think it was like C, USD, C, Euro.
I will send it in the group.
Cool, thanks.
Great. Okay. So then we needed to also bridge give to Cello and like set up our Cello multisig. I think that was already done, right? And it can receive and send money. The Cello.
Yeah, Cello multisig is good.
Okay, and we still need to figure out how to bridge give to Cello.
Yeah. Was Mitch, were you on that?
I said I was gonna do it, but then I forgot to add it to my list. So.
Okay, I can make an issue for it so that you remember.
It is on my list now.
Yay.
But yeah, issue's good.
Great. Is there anything else there? Any other blockers there, Monique?
Not a blocker, but we have to plan for the next release. And I think we have to estimate on Monday about the adding the rest of the tokens. So we remove it for right now from our sprint planning, and Amin got busy, so it's perfect that we have the list final on Monday, so we can start estimating. I have a problem. Or?
No.
Okay.
I cannot see this.
They were
Share
switching
this screen.
over, I think, computers.
Trying to be seamless. But I heard you. Okay, so we'll check in on that on Monday. So, and then so optimism. We got the grant for optimism to add the optimism chain, and created this epic.
Looks like she died again.
It's just
Probably.
Oh
no,
maybe just the internet.
Can you guys not? You can't hear Lauren?
Nope.
Now we can. We heard the echo of your voice through her computer, and now we can hear her.
I'm really sorry. This has been really hard and annoying. Try to sort of my text. I just changed to yellow. Okay. Optimism donations though. So I just created an epic for this. That's not loading. But it just like, yeah, so but I think like, so Monique, have you, or is this already on your radar? And like, because I'm thinking we could maybe, if we wanted to, release Optimism and Cello at the same time if they're already like at similar stages of development, or like we can also still stagger them.
Yeah, I think so, but test matter. So we have to also test on the other issues because the pricing of these tokens is different, and yeah, I'm thinking about releasing 2 of them at the same time, but with only the native tokens, and these 4 tokens for Stilo. We can do that, I'm pretty sure. But for the other list of tokens, I think we have to do estimations. Is it necessary to do it in the same version or not?
No, it's not necessary. I was just asking because I know that the devs had started working on Optimism before Cello, and I was like wondering if it's like already almost done as well. Now that we have the grant money, we can like reactivate it, and maybe it actually makes sense to do them at the same time, or maybe it doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, I'm only testing. If you can start testing, I can ask even Sherry to provide another feature branch for the optimism, and we can start testing. Or What do you think, Cherry? Do you have another feature branch, or you just enable the
Yeah,
optimism in the same feature branch for Silo? We can start testing there.
I think it's okay to have the same feature branch because
Mhm.
we are adding the manage wallet model on the Celo branch, so we can check it
Mhm.
together there. Yes.
Okay.
And, so I can enable it. No, do you want?
Yes, please.
Yes. Yeah. Okay. Okay.
And it's my radar, just for confirmation.
Yeah, for
Why?
sure.
Okay, great. Okay, awesome. So that's all I had for Celo and optimism that I was wondering about. Can I move on to other things, or should we? Is there anything else there?
The pricing of the optimism, I think we got problem on that. I can remember that even for the native token, we could not finalize that PR. And I got the vacation, and I think it's good that Amin gives us insight that is there any serious problem to have this feature in recent weeks, or we can't. Amin, are you here?
Do you hear me?
Yep.
Go ahead.
Yeah, hopefully we have Uniswap version 3 and Optimism. So the general solution that we have had on other chains work here. I think it will be fine. We can go and test it. But maybe we have issues on the back end we should test. And it's not related to the token list. I mean, I'm so concerned about the Uniswap, but I think it will be fine. 90%. Monoswap will be fine to fetch the price.
So we have to update that repo or not?
Nope.
Okay.
Nope. If the list that you gave me is the final list, the last update for supporting optimism is pushed by Mato. Mato, did you push something for optimism or Polygon? I cannot remember clearly.
I push
You
for
here?
Polygon. Optimism not yet. So we have to make a new
Oh,
release for that.
Yeah, Mohammed was working
Uh,
on that, and Mohammed failed to verify donation and optimism. It's not just for pricing, just for checking with the network.
yeah, exactly. That's the reason I said that we would have some issues on the back end, but maybe it's not related to Monoswap. We should do testing. I don't think that there are lots of things to do.
Okay, I have to manage it, Lauren. Sorry, no, I have to talk with all of them.
Okay. Thanks, Monique. And all right, cool. Let's move on to give power. So I mean, we already set up the rewards. So like I saw your comment in the issue. Like there's nothing else we need to do, right? For extending the staking incentives.
Yeah, we wired everything. We created a new script and put it in the and set it to be run on the correct time.
Okay. Okay. And so this give is just coming from the token distro, right? And we have like lots of give in there and we don't have to worry about topping it up.
Oh, good point. Good point. We should top it up. I
Oh.
forgot it.
Okay. Okay, cool. So what do we need to do? We need to do a multi-sig transaction, right? To transfer some funds.
As you want to transfer some of this fund, you want to distribute some of this fund on other chain later. I don't know what will be the plan, but we have a huge unallocated. We have huge space of the thing. What's the term? Abundance charge, unused charge on token distro. So we can allocate all the fund for whole without sharing with Celo or Optimism, or just be conservative and just allocate for two rounds?
I think we should allocate just for the first 2 rounds because optimism, like we can start building it now. So 10% of those rewards, like 1.3 million give, is definitely going to be bridged to optimism chain and used there. And then I think I don't know, it's moderately likely that we'll also move some onto Cello, but it's definitely true that we'll move some onto optimism.
Okay. On your call.
So
This is a value. Yeah. Right.
Yeah, let's just do the first 2 rounds because then maybe by then we will have to adjust the amounts. And then
Okay, that's fine.
work on building give powers on optimism.
That's fine. That will be fine.
But we don't need to transfer funds anywhere.
Mm,
It should be coming from.
nope.
It should be coming from some farm. We have to allocate it.
No, we have transfer all the money to Token Distro.
Okay.
We
Okay.
really just need to say where is the
Yeah.
coming from.
So we just need to allocate. So let's just allocate for the first 2 rounds and then we'll move some later. And I'll also just like
Okay.
make a reminder so that we don't forget that like we haven't allocated more after that.
This is coming from the give power, right? Was it 13 million?
13 million give for 6 months for give power, and we're gonna take 10% out and bridge it to optimism.
And before that, we did 7 million, right?
Yep.
So that 20 million is what we allocated already to power. So it's coming out of the give power bucket.
Yeah. Okay. Okay.
It's 13 million exactly.
Yeah. Great. Okay, so then the ranking update. I think that you didn't have time for this yet. I mean, do you have any like thoughts or questions or updates
Nope.
on? No. Okay.
No update yet. Today I was working on something else. But
Yeah, I think it's
my
huge.
next priority is that after finishing this, I'm just creating some logging, incident reporting on the admin.js. So everyone who is changing anything by admin.js, we should log it somewhere to have some footprint. And currently I'm involved with it.
Okay.
And it's also a blocker for almost 80 sites
For
for the
the
design.
resorting.
Yeah.
Right. Because we need an issue for basically just like warning the person who does the boosting. Okay. Great. So then adding give power to other chains. I created this epic for adding give power to optimism chain, which I think is like also, I don't know. I think we can check the token log to see like which things are kind of like higher or not, but this is like coming up because we're getting the grant funding for it. So I just like created an epic for it and I signed you to a couple of the issues and then also just made one out for a design update from Mo. I think we'll need a little bit of front end work, but mostly we just need to deploy the staking on optimism chain. For your information, I mean.
Yeah, it's cool. It's very cool. And I think it's do you have any guess of when we have to deliver it? Because token lock is just for insight, and we have some insight that's right now. So if we have time limits, maybe we have to change our priority for now instead of.
Griff says, I don't think we need to change our time limits. He says it's not that high priority, but like I guess. So it's like we should finish
3 months.
Cello. Okay, he said 3 months. We should finish Cello. We should finish Optimism. Then maybe get out this Give Power resort, and then Optimism, staking, Give Power.
Okay. Yeah. For estimating and other, are you clear about the scope right now, Lauren, Amy?
Yeah, I mean, for me, I think it's
Yeah.
like I need a meeting. Yeah, sorry. Go ahead. I mean,
No, go ahead. Go ahead.
I mean, I think it's like relatively small scope. We just need to we need to make a token distro on Optimism, and then we need to make the staking incentives. So set up a unipool on Optimism, and then have like those rewards. There's a little bit of design that needs to go into, but I don't think it's going to be like very involved. It's just kind of like add a new farm card to the Give farm, and like maybe a couple of modals or notifications, and then we need the front end work for that as well. But then like the biggest challenge is going to be that like Amin will need to figure out, like, we need to have the Give Power balance be the sum of Give Power coming from multiple chains, and then that number is like what we use as like the person's Give Power amount, and it's like, you know, for all their boosting and all the stuff we're doing in the back end, like the number is not just coming from one place anymore, but it's like the sum of Give Power from multiple chains. I think that's the hardest.
Also, yeah, and we have to have these numbers or allocations and all calculated by the snapshots. And do we need different snapshots for different chains? I mean, in the backend, I'm just thinking about the backend efforts.
Yeah, if we want to participate optimism balances in boosting, it will add complexity on the rank and power boosting.
Really though? Can't we just like say, like, I don't know how it's working, but like the Give Power balance should just be a different number, and I think that's all we need to mess with. And so then like whatever, like the snapshots and like the distribution of Give Power, I don't think we need to change too much. We just need to change like the universal Give Power balance number, you know, which right now I think is just like reading it from our smart contracts on only one chain, you know. Like
You know,
I don't think
for every time, it is how it's working. For on every snapshot is taken on in some specific time, every 4 hours, right? We find the black number that is closest to that time and fetch the balances for every user on that black number. Does it make sense?
yeah.
So it's not so simple. And we have a list of huge number of users. We, by pagination, fetch them in bulks, update, sync everything, and think, okay, now this run the snapshot is synced for every user. We have fetched the balance. And yeah, it's the time to add these numbers to others, the precedents, and do the math. So we need to duplicate. The backend is not designed to support multiple chains.
Damn. Yeah. Is there, so this is what I'm thinking though, like, is there some way we can change the way that our backend is working so it's fetching the Give Power balance from somewhere else? Like maybe there's like, I don't know, one function that checks Give Power balance on multiple chains and then like produces the Give Power balance number, and then our backend fetches that number, so that it's not like each snapshot needs to like consider multiple chains. Because the thing is, I'm thinking is scalability. Like we're gonna add Cello later, and maybe we're gonna add Arbitrum, and maybe we're gonna add other things. And it's like if it's gonna make our backend like have to do 2 times as much work, and then 3 times, and then 4, it's too much. So I think at this point we need to kind of like maybe reconsider the architecture of it. But you know, I'm not a dev.
Yeah, I think we should. You are right. We should define create another microservice for having this feature. You are totally right. and it needs that. We need that because if we need to support more networks, we need to be scalable, and we should pull out these complexities from Impact Graph and create another microservice for it.
I think that it's not the backend of the DApp, but it's the backend of the GivePower itself, because the GivePower has its own backend called GivePower calculation. Am I right? I mean, so in the GivePower calculation, when to just want to calculate the snapshot, you have to change the services to have the support multi-chain.
Unfortunately, no. We need to have a service to just keep the balances updated and fetch the balances from that, because we do the math and integrate everything with the join tables in the database to improve the performance. When we send a query to the backend, we want to sort project, and the data should be ready in the backend to do the join, do the math. And we should not fetch the information from and no one and the boothing, all the boothing things are saved in the Impact Graph database. Unless we want to fetch everything out of Impact Graph, it should be huge work. But just fetching, pulling out this, this balance stuff, this balance calculation stuff, and creating a separate microservice for it would be huge help, and it doesn't block us for any of you further improvement and splitting functional decoupling of complexities from each other.
I like it. I think that's the way. But okay. Moni, do you have any more questions? I feel like it's like, because we can kind of like revisit this after a few other things. It's like not our highest priority right now, but like good to be thinking of. So it's like you got, I mean, gears turning, which is like what I wanted. Okay, great. So I'm happy with Give Power. And Franco brought up this one point. So this is like a question also for you, Amin. So the rewards team are going to be distributing praise rewards from the NRGive, like similar to how we do givebacks. And so it's like, people will be able to claim it, like kind of like from givebacks, and it'll say it's like a givebacks amount. And on the GiveStream history table, it'll say it's a givebacks amount. And what he was asking basically was like, is there some way that we can like create like an identifier for different types of votes, so that like we can say in the GiveStream history table, this came from praise, this came from vesting, and this came from givebacks, even though they're all coming from like NRGive votes?
No, not at this time. Not at this time. For giveback, we created separate method on the contract that on every giveback payment, it emits an event say it giveback payment, and all the payments that are happening in the same transaction after that are considered giveback. If we want to have a pay praise, we can add a method there, another method, or thinking about more generalized solution. For instance, we register.
I mean, sorry, I thought, because there's two different functions. There's allocate many, and then there's send givebacks, right?
Yes.
So only send giveback shows up in the table, or allocate many?
Allocate many are shown also, but with unknown status, I guess.
Oh, okay. Because that's what I was planning to do, is give them the allocate many, and then I thought it wouldn't show up in the table.
If you look at the contract code, it's not so complicated to add new method, because giveback payment, giveback pay, as I remember, giveback pay many. What's the name of the method? Actually calls allocate many and only emits an event to say, yeah, it was giveback. So it's a
It doesn't give
footprint
back.
on the chain that say, yeah, these were. So
So
you yourself can add that method, and it's very simple.
yeah, because the thing is, I think what I understand Lauren is saying is that we don't want praise rewards to show up as givebacks, right?
Or as unknown. And in fact, ideally, we want them to show up as praise rewards so that like when people who aren't like part of our active community, they get praised and it comes like up, they're like, oh, look, I got these rewards from praise. You know, there's some place that it actually says on
So
the dash praise.
then I mean, what would that would mean creating a new method called like send praise that uses allocate many and emits an event that is, you know, praise, whatever. And then we're able
Yeah.
to capture that in the table as something different.
Yeah, a little upgrade in the back in the impact graph. Sorry, subgraph front end.
And the contract, because you're not emitting, you don't have a method.
Yeah, of course, contract.
Yeah.
We did first, and after that, we should do some upgrade.
That sounds pretty easy.
Yeah.
Great. Okay. Well, that makes Franco happy. So I can create an issue for that. And I'll just like tag you guys both, like Mitch and Amin. It sounds like something Mitch, you're like kind of like, ooh. So we'll assign it to you and you got Amin in there just to help you out. But that's really great. Okay, cool. So then I really want to talk about, now we have like about 15 minutes left, and I really basically want to spend it on Gitcoin Passport and quadratic funding integration. I think for the Gitcoin Passport though, I did have like a meeting with Tossin and Mo about the design stuff, and like kind of when we were talking about, it's like the Gitcoin Passport score is like kind of not relevant at all until we have quadratic funding. So we can just like create the design changes and like the updates to the front end all at once. Like when we're ready to start like activating quadratic funding rounds. But yeah, and other than that, like last week we talked a lot about, you know, changing our authentication service and the steps of integrating Gitcoin Passport. But yeah, I also spend some time today trying to create like a more comprehensive spec doc. Oh no, Notion is so slow. I should never do that. It's creating a quadratic funding spec, which is like now here in the Notion, and like wanted to kind of like go through it a little bit because I'm starting to also like wonder if, like, I guess one first thought is like, do we want to wait until after the beta round? Are you paying attention? Pay attention to me. Do we want to wait until after the beta round in order to start implementing quadratic funding in case somehow we want to change our mind and actually use the grants protocol? No, we want to build entirely our own front end and like database and stuff like that. I'm just like worried that it's like reinventing the wheel in some way. As I was kind of like going through and starting to like break down the spec, there's like because what else we would need to do, like I created this, you know, I put this in the forum as well, like steps to integrating QF on Giveth. It's like, okay, cool, we design and build the UI, but then we also need to like compile the transaction data and then like build like a Dune dashboard or something that like their fraud review team can like use and help us with Sybil detection. And I'm not sure like how easy that's gonna be.
But what we add to the mix is it's multi-chain, super easy, and easy user experience. And the whole like crypto thing makes things so difficult, you know?
Yeah.
Like if we try to do it all with smart contracts, it's really annoying.
Yeah. Okay. Well, then maybe we can just like walk through the spec doc a little bit, and I can kind of like ask some questions, and maybe other people have like feedback on like how this should change. The first part is just like, you know, preamble, what is QF and why is it cool? And like these are basic steps. First, we need to integrate Gitcoin Passport, which like looks actually already pretty straightforward. And then design and build the UI, like make an easy application pathway for projects to enter the round. So projects will like need to apply somehow to the round. Then we need to raise funds for the matching pool, compile the transaction data into a Dune dashboard that we send to Gitcoin, who can like help us remove Sybil attacks, and then distribute the matching funds by performing QF calculations and distributing the payout. So I kind of then, like, from those steps created like what we would need before the round and during the round and after the round. Like, we need to, and actually, like, it's good to toss and pay attention if you're not paying attention, because like, and Cherik as well, because I think that, like, this is like, where the design starts. We need to show like the round start and end dates somewhere clearly on the DApp and communicate like with our audiences. And then the pathway, like, I'm wondering also, like, what are going to be our requirements for projects to participate in the round? Do we want to say just like any verified project can participate, or like, in the case of like if we were running around for Cello, we would say any verified project who has a Cello address? Or like, are we going to create like a different list for each QF round, and it's like you're only eligible if this, and this? So then we need like some kind of form or even something built into the DApp that could be like an application that like, and they can like indicate. I don't know. I'm even wondering, like, do we want to ask projects to fill something out, like explain why they're eligible for being part of the round or something? I feel like the requirements for quadratic funding rounds could be like whatever we had imagined, and I wanted to just get some feedback on that.
I think it's the customer journey, right? Are we looking at running the rounds ourselves? And if so, where do we get the funding for the matching pool? Or are we going to enable someone else to come in with funding for a matching pool, have them say what their requirements are, and pick it kind of the way Gitcoin is doing it now? It's like, I think that we should break it out into some MVPs and like, and cut scope as much as we can, and then see what we want to build after that. I don't think the beta round is going to be like blow our minds that, oh, this all works now. My first look at it is that it's horrible still. So I think that we just need to make a plan to go for MVP and like see where we can cut scope. I feel like you and I could talk through some of this if you need me, and we don't need to do it with so many people on the call.
Well, Mitch unmuted.
Well, I'm just looking at all this stuff and I'm like, have you guys done any like research into like what you expect the yields to be? Like, what do you expect people to deposit realistically? Because it sounds like you have a bunch of soft commits. You're doing a bunch of work and engineering to build it. Do you know what do you have any idea how people are going to actually use this? Like, is it going to be something that people want, that they're going to use? Or did you just hear it from a couple people on Twitter?
Well, I think that there's demand for QF.
But have you done any research, or have you just think?
What do you mean?
I don't know. Have you asked like done any like research among like people who use your platform already? Like, are they going to donate to a matching pool? Are people that you're doing fundraising with, if they're not donating to Giveth, if they're not giving us grants or anything, are they going to donate to a matching pool?
Well, it's not
if they haven't already.
It's not as much about donating to a matching pool as much as it is that Gitcoin, Dora Hacks, and several other projects are using quadratic funding as a way to distribute funds to their community, and that's the proof that there are people who donate to these matching pools. I don't think that necessarily our current existing user base. I think the point is to expand our user base and satisfy the needs, especially if, like, honestly, if Gitcoin isn't really providing a valuable experience for users, then like, we can support this effort and provide a good experience.
Okay. Well, I hope it's successful, but like we have a matching pool for at least a year and a half, and it has been very unsuccessful in getting donations. So I'm curious, like, adding QF to the mix, will it make it more successful? How do we know that?
I think a big part of that is that like we don't have a clear method for how to distribute those funds, and that like there are people who are interested in funding QF matching pools. Like Ashley just connected me with somebody the other day from Octant who presented like the Golem Foundation app that they presented in our community call, and they're like, we're about to launch this. I don't know. It seemed like crazy, and I haven't opened their docs yet, but I think I have it open here. But they're like about to launch this like ETH staking thing, and they're like, hey, what if we like we could have like 100 to like 300 ETH that we could donate to fund matching pools, and we'd love to like partner with you to like help kind of like kickstart this on Giveth. We thought about like donating to a Gitcoin matching pool, but like we really love you guys and blah blah blah. So it's like that's already. I mean, I was like, that's a lot of money for a matching pool. And that's just like kind of like one thing. And then, you know, the other thing was, well, I don't know, Vicar, if you can tell me yes or no on this, but like I heard that like with our Cello conversations, we were talking with Cello about like they would want to fund a matching pool. Like Cello would want to fund a matching pool exclusively for projects who have a Cello address on Giveth. So it's like even already in like our grants and fundraising, it's like we would have a big pot of funds coming from there, and it's like a good pathway for projects coming onto like grant like new chains L1s who want to support Giveth. It's like step 1, we add their chain for donation. Step 2, we add them to Give Power. Step 3, we run QF rounds like for their chain, and then they can like provide funding for those different things. So
Cool. That's great. I hope it works.
yeah, I mean, I did put those things as well in the doc here at the bottom. And I put like also like the soft commits were like, yeah, like Octant and like Cello was talking about it. And then like the idea of doing QF, like Kevin Owaki was suggesting it and had said that like he would donate also like personally if we wanted to run around. So yeah, I think that our matching pool hasn't been successful because we don't have a clear or like community trusted way of distributing the funds, which like QF would bring.
I do think that Mitch brings up a point, and I feel like this is going to be like, you know, Chainvine is a really cool tool, but we're not really marketing very well. And QF is a cool tool, but you know we would need to market it, you know, otherwise it won't succeed. So, you know, once we have it up and we have ways for people to engage with it, we'll really need to double down on the comms contributions for all these features to work.
Yeah. Okay. Well, so we have 5 minutes left in the call, and I guess like if you were suggesting that like we go through this after the call so that people could leave, let me just like on the rest of the call, the only other things I wanted to talk about were, well, I wanted to bring up this topic of the NFT integration, and Santi is here because it's just been like it's been on the agenda for weeks, and I'm not really like sure what the progress is or like if I should just take it off. So yeah, maybe you can give us an update, Santi, or like I don't know, or even just like let's breathe more life into it starting this week.
Sure. Basically, on the space, there's two tools or two main options that we have. One is working with one of the tools that offer an SDK to develop, and out of those, there's Alchemy and there's Third Web. And if I had to choose one, probably Third Web is the best one. It's the most developed one. They have a bunch of documentation, and they keep adding more and more tools and templates every other week. And then there's tools that offer you ways to do specific things like DAppBack or Tropi or ETH Pass. So in the first option, we need development. Yeah, they have SDKs, they have templates, they offer a bunch of tools, but we need to develop using those tools that they offer. The second option is just using a specific tool that's out on the market, like DAppBack, and use that for a specific project or for our own project for Giveth, and see if that's interesting for us. So those are the two main options there. Third Web has also started to release some tools to integrate with Unity, so you can start, if you want, using NFTs and on gaming tools if you want to create your own specific simple gaming platform. And they have a bunch of on their YouTube channels. They have a bunch of tutorials. I've tested some of their templates locally. I've created a minter. Alchemy has started offering templates. They promise they will develop many more. Right now they have a minter. They have an NFT gallery. I tested the NFT gallery with our own collection, and right away you create the template from React, and you upload it, and you can offer that. I mean, the tools are quite interesting, and there's a lot of things you can do. So at this point, I think what we have to decide is, which path do we want to move forward? Do we want to offer these to our projects? Do we want to create an NFT factory that projects can use to create their own collections and try to fund selling NFTs? Do we want to just try some of the tools for ourselves before we decide if we want to move forward into that path, considering the amount of development that we would have to put there? Because those tools are great, but still there's a lot of work that we have to do to finally create a contract factory or an NFT collection factory to offer to our project owners. So I think that's where we are now. Every other week there's new tools coming out, and I would say some of those I would love to test them for Giveth, but it's a matter of maybe just having one of the developers, a specific one that knows or moves quite well on React front-end development, show them the platforms that I've been digging into, and they will be able to figure out how much work we would need if we want to integrate an NFT collection factory into our platform for projects. And after that, decide which way we want to move forward, if we want to.
Okay. Yeah, I don't know. What do you guys think? I think that what we ideally want is like an NFT factory, something that's really easy for projects. It's just like they can like create NFTs and even like sell them through the DApp is like the best way of doing this. Yeah, I don't know. I just what's the best thing here? Should we create an issue with this in token log and just like see like where it is in the priority list and if we want to allocate dev resources to it? Or because it sounds like Santi is like, I've like looking at a bunch of different tools and kind of like now requires some support. So just put in a
I think
roadmap
that's one way to go, but I would also love to sit down and have a meeting and show up the tools to the development team, someone from the development team, so they can have a much better knowledge of how much work we would have to put into that if we decide to move forward into that direction, because I'm not able to figure out. I mean, I've tested the tool locally, and I'm not a developer. I've done some stuff. There's a lot of things that they offer. They offer you to use their IPFS uploader. So there's a lot of resources out there. Third Web have raised a bunch of money. They have tons of money, and they are offering everything for free. And their platform is open for third parties to upload their smart contracts. So they keep adding more and more contracts every week. That's how I found Unlock Protocol from their platform. Although Unlock Protocol also have a huge documentation on their own webpage, and also it's a cool platform to test. But I think having a meeting with someone from the development team would be the start, and after that we can decide if we put it on token log and vote.
I can say whenever you want, you can attend the daily call, or feel free to put it in the Alder channel. I think we can do it async until we reached out the options and have a meeting about that. But we meet every day, and even on the Monday sync call, you can have a time. And
that sounds great. I'll be
about
happy to join you guys and discuss it with you, show you what I've learned, and from there help you out to dig deeper into the tool, not spending too much time, so you guys don't have to spend as much time as I have, but at least you can grasp an idea of the cost that would represent.
Cool. Okay, well, sounds good. So then, Santi, the Give dailies are like every morning. They're like Europe afternoon, but you can check them out on the Giveth calendar. We are 3 minutes over time, so yeah, I just want to, like, if you have to go, go, and then I think that's like pretty much anyway everything we have on the agenda. So thanks everybody for joining the call.
Thanks, Lauren.